Good morning with Green Hornets. It's Mrs. Ambrose, and today is Friday, April 28th. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led in a separate video. Now it's time for our Building Healthy Community announcements. Our bodies need vitamin D to help it use calcium. Calcium helps bones develop properly and growing strong. If our body doesn't get enough calcium from foods and drinks, it takes the calcium from bones, which can weaken our bones. Calcium is in foods such as milk and other dairy products, leafy green vegetables, cereals fortified with calcium, and almonds. Now it's time for shout outs. Have you been doing a good job? Have you been trying your best? Have you been following the expectations? Well, maybe you're going to hear your name. From Miss Smith. My students during the fire drill, they were quiet, following directions, and patiently waiting for all clear. Way to go. From Mrs. Gamerick. Dean Curtis for great listening and volunteering to answer questions. Caden Sanders and Makai Lewis for helping keep our classroom clean. Lilith Sears for being a cheerful helper. From Mrs. Leslie. Quizelle Embry for putting forth more effort into completing work on time this week. Mia Lawson and Morgan Moore for consistently staying on task during independent work time. From Mrs. Mickens, shout out to Zion for tying a friend's shoes. Shout out to students who stacked their chairs quietly and nicely. From Miss Sharp, to all my students who kept their VIP cards this week. Great job modeling exceptional behavior. Keep up the great work. From Mrs. Pudlow, shout out to Mrs. Pudlow's class for behaving well on the field trip. From Mrs. Tominski, I would like to shout out my entire class for being on their best behavior on our field trip to the Nature Center. You did a great job representing green. From Mrs. Chaffin and Mrs. Miglio, please give a shout out to our class for having excellent behavior on the bus and during our field trip to Lake St. Clair Nature Center. From Mrs. Mason, awesome job to my students who kept their VIP cards for 2 weeks straight. From Mrs. Slissinger, Kevin was an amazing friend this week. Tylen, thank you for helping your classmate out on the test daily. All of Team 101, you did an amazing job during the fire drill. Thank you for following the directions and for being quiet. From Mrs. Taylor, congrats to the following students for keeping their VIP cards all week. Abby, Messiah, Renaya, Justin, Haley, Quinton, Sienna, Tyson, Noah, Jocelyn, Adam, Serenity, Noni, Avery, and Kiera. From Mr. Quickie, I'd like to shout out James, Kat, and Skylar. They cleaned up the art room without being asked. Thank you for taking the time to clean up a mess that was not yours. From Miss DW. Room 213, Miss DW's class would like to shout out Cameron Smith, Jordan Moody, Trayvon Stewart, and Karen Dawkins for taking their time and really working diligently on their math M-step. Way to go, guys. We hope it pays off in super math scores. Wow. That's a lot of shout outs. You guys have been working hard this week. Keep up the good work. If you didn't hear your name this week, keep doing the right thing and maybe you'll hear your name next week. Friendly reminder, no coats in school, so bring a sweatshirt. No hoods. Cell phones need to be put away and off, and no purses. I also have had some kids getting into some issues and using hands-on behavior. That's not acceptable and will not be tolerated. Make sure that if you are having a problem with somebody, you let an adult know so they can help you. There's lots of adults around that are more than willing to listen to what's going on and try to help you fix the problem. I hope you have a great Friday and repeat after me. Ruth Green Hornets are respectful, responsible, and ready. I fly right with Hero. Hey! Have a good Friday and a great weekend. Bye.